Ας περάσουμε στο επόμενο μας θέμα. Το Hellenic TV επισκέφθηκε πρόσφατα το δικηγορικό γραφείο International Family Law Group στο Covent Garden, όπου εκεί η συμπατριώτισσά μας Lucy Loizou διαπρέπει σαν δικηγόρος τα τελευταία χρόνια. Περισσότερο όμως για το δικηγορικό γραφείο International Family Law Group μίλησε στην κάμερα του Hellenic TV και στη Lucy Loizou, υπεύθυνη και βασικός έταιρος του γραφείου Thomas. Ας δούμε τη συνέντευξη.
Hello, welcome to the offices of the International Family Law Group. I'm joined today by our managing partner, Anne Thomas.
Hello.
And we're just going to have a short interview with Anne, who's going to give us a little bit of information about the firm and the services that we offer. Hello Anne, welcome.
Hi Lucy.
So Anne, tell us a little bit about the firm.
We started our practice about 6 years ago, the International Family Law Group based in Covent Garden. We had an idea, David Hodson and I had an idea that we would like to help our international families, particularly given the changes in Europe with the freedom of movement of people living in Europe to be able to work in other member states. We also found that a lot of our clients had issues, maybe of a smaller or a large degree, with international countries, maybe just a savings account in Jersey or in Guernsey or in Greece, maybe something larger where a couple have lived together in Greece, in Germany, and then have come together and then found their relationship has not worked, having moved to another country. So we started very small with 4 staff, and now we've grown to about 26. And over that 6 years, obviously there's been a lot of demand for the work that we can do for our clients and helping them as much as we can.
So what services do you offer clients?
We offer our clients a range of services, both on an international sphere and also within domestic issues that can arise in a family. We took the decision some time ago not to be involved in conveyancing, litigation, corporate work, anything like that, but to concentrate on family law issues, basically any issue that arises in the breakdown of a family. And the list is endless. It can be a change of name deed, it can be a divorce, judicial separation, a child issue, any aspect whatsoever that troubles a family upon the breakdown of that relationship, or wanting to go abroad with a child either on a permanent basis or on a short-term basis.
And as a firm, do you deal with cases that don't just have international elements?
Yes, our main title of our practice is the International Family Law Group, so by having that title it implies that we do a lot of international work, but we chose that title because of the expertise we have and all our staff have in dealing with our international clients and dealing with international issues. Most of our staff here do lecture to other lawyers and are asked to prepare seminars abroad to raise those complicated issues of international family law. We also took the view that we want to help other lawyers, maybe who've got their case off track. If something very complicated does arise, we can sometimes deal with that and then pass the client back to them once the problem has been sorted out. The other thing as well is the Law Society has recognised that if you're acting for international clients or dealing with international family law, you need a higher standard of care when you're dealing with those clients because of the complexity of those issues, because you're having to deal incredibly fast with some of those issues, and also you have to be able to work around the clock. Not that we work for 24 hours, but in that you're having to deal with something while Australia's sleeping, you're working and vice versa. So you have to be aware of the international world clock to be able to work properly. You can't just be a 9 to 5 office. You have to be able to offer a service almost 24 hours.
And talk to us a little bit about the team at IFLG. You said that it's expanded in size in the last few years. How many lawyers are there? How many support staff are there? Does everyone have different areas of expertise?
In the main, I think it'd be safe to say that, and right to say that every lawyer at our practice can basically deal with everything, every aspect that would come into your offices as a solicitor client dealing with international family breakdown or domestic family breakdown. But within our office, we do specialise to a higher degree, and some members of our staff will specialise purely in international finance work. Others would deal with international child work. And the more complicated the issue, the more experience one would need with certain lawyers to deal with that. We have most of our lawyers sit on international practices, and one of our partners, David Hodgson, who is a co-founder of this practice with me, has written an informative book now in its second year of publication, The International Family Law Practice, and that is a very useful book for all practitioners, and it is really setting the way to ensure that practitioners are fully aware of the issues that can arise. I think also, given David's expertise particularly, he is aware of some of the most recent regulations. There's a new Hague Convention coming through with its ramifications on contact aspects for children relocating to other jurisdictions, and certainly there's the maintenance regulation, which has a considerable effect on, particularly with Greek clients here, because obviously that has an effect on how you proceed with a divorce or financial settlement.
And touching on the Greek aspect, are there lawyers in the firm that can deal with cases that have a Greek or Cypriot element?
Yes, there are. We wouldn't be able to take a case in the courts in Greece or in Cyprus, but what we can do is, well, certainly you do speak Greek fluently. You're a great help as well to our Greek clients as we assist them in their matters. But what we do have is a very, very good agent solicitors in Greece, in Cyprus, located all over, very tried and tested, very trustworthy lawyers who know the procedure very well, because we don't want to pass our clients on to another lawyer who perhaps doesn't have the same standards as us. And we do make sure that we do handpick our Greek and Cypriot lawyers to make sure that our clients have a very, very good representation in the other jurisdiction. And again, they emulate our work that we do, and that we act very quickly. They act very quickly as well, and obviously they do know what they're talking about. So we like to pass our clients on to a very safe pair of hands.
Yes. And does the firm offer legal aid?
The firm does offer legal aid, and there have been so many cutbacks of late, but we are very fortunate in that we can offer legal aid to our clients, but only in a very limited sphere. The area of law that we can offer under a legal aid certificate is only in respect of international child abduction. That's where a child has been taken from this jurisdiction to another jurisdiction without the other parent's consent, or more appropriately and more importantly here, when a child is being brought into this jurisdiction without the consent of the other parent, or has stayed beyond an agreed period of time. In that case, we are then either contacted by the central authority to act for them as the agent for the child to be returned to whichever country it happens to be, or alternatively we are defending an application if there is merit to producing a defence for a matter where a child has been brought into this jurisdiction, and saying basically that they are able to stay here, and that basically no application should have been brought because it was all agreed with the other parent in any event. But we are pragmatic and very honest with our clients. We will not pursue a case if there is no point in pursuing it, because it increases costs unnecessarily, and that isn't fair for anybody. The client would be unhappy, and we don't certainly do that.
Thank you. And how can people find out more about the firm?
You can find out more about us by going onto our website, which is www.iflg.uk.com. There's a very comprehensive website. There's a synopsis for each of our lawyers on that website, on that web page. There is some relevant news there, updating on what our staff have been doing. There's also a lot of information there about cases. If you're looking for some advice about how to deal with a divorce, how to deal with obtaining money from somebody living abroad who perhaps has to maintain a child, what to do if your marriage is broken down, and where do you divorce. I think that's very important. So the website, I think, probably is the first port of call.
Okay, so you've talked about the website. Is there any other way that clients can find out information about the firm?
Yes, in the very beginning when we started our firm, David and I found that a lot of our clients were asking the same questions, quite routine questions that as experienced practitioners we knew the answers, but obviously quite basic questions for us, but very, very important questions for our clients. So David and I decided we would write a booklet here called When Cupid's Arrow Crosses National Boundaries, and this booklet here is in a very user-friendly mode. It's set out in a question and answer fashion, and it does help the reader get a bit of a grasp of what it's all about, the do's and the don'ts. And we did choose this title basically to help those who have sort of fallen in love and then the relationship has gone sour. That's why we called it When Cupid's Arrow Crosses National Boundaries. And there's lots of precautionary advice in this booklet to make sure that our clients don't get into very difficult positions, because by one example, if one parent wants to return to their homeland, which for example may be Greece, with a child, thinking that relationship is broken down, I can just go back home with my child where my support structure is. That, if the child's been living here, for example, is the breaking of criminal law, and it can be imprisonable, and people don't realise they're breaking the law by doing what they thought was the right thing.
So I guess the motto is always make sure you take advice before you take any steps.
I would agree with that. It's very important to take legal advice from somebody who knows what they're doing before they take any steps in relation to a marriage or a divorce, or in relation to leaving the country with a child, because there can be quite serious ramifications if that goes wrong. I mentioned about the difficulty with a child being taken out of the jurisdiction and going home, which somebody thinks they can definitely do without the consent of the other parent if the relationship breaks down. But the other important thing, of course, is if you are contemplating a divorce and you could issue in another country, particularly in one of the European countries, you should really take advice at the point where you know the marriage is not working, because it's very important that you seize the right jurisdiction for you, which is going to give you the better financial outcome. And in some cases, one country would be the right country for one spouse, or the other country may be. They call England the divorce capital of the world because we are incredibly generous to our wives and with spousal maintenance that can be lifelong, whereas in other countries, for example, only France will give their men the obligation to pay maintenance for a very, very short period of time. So I think if, again, a client is a Greek national, is a French national, Italian national, just check with a lawyer first of all to see whether a divorce could be issued in another jurisdiction. But it is a time race all the time, because if you do mention the fact that you want to divorce, you have to get in first of all with your divorce petition in the other European country. It doesn't work outside Europe, just within Europe, and make sure you've then seized that jurisdiction. In a way it goes against the grain with many divorce lawyers, because you want to work in a conciliatory way with the other party so you don't build any acrimony between the parties, but by not being able to talk to the party, you're not able to do that. So there's lots of controversy about that, the rights or wrong of that. If you talk to your husband saying, look, my marriage isn't working here, I want to go back home, I want to divorce, then you shouldn't have that conversation until you've seized jurisdiction. And that's another complicated issue, which I think you probably covered in one of your programmes.
Thank you. And finally, Anne, why should people choose the International Family Law Group over another family law firm?
I think choosing this firm particularly, I would say it's the first port of call for anything international in respect of a family breakdown. We know how to deal with things very quickly. We know agents all over the world who we can refer clients to for very quick advice. We use email, we use Skype, we use all the technological advances that we can to get advice as quickly and thoroughly as possible. With a domestic divorce where there's no international element, it could be said that you can go to any lawyer. Well, that's right, but we like to feel that we also give a very, very good service to our clients who have no international element whatsoever. We aren't all dual qualified in international family law. We can all deal with domestic divorces as easily as we can. The international divorces, the international element makes it a bit more complicated. So in a way, I'd like to say that our staff are very adept and very experienced in what they do, and also we're very selective in the staff that we recruit, in that they do have that particular expertise, and make sure that we can give the best service possible to our clients.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.